When you're writing linear equations, you can write in three different formats. So first we have point slope form, and that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. To write this equation, you need the slope, which we know is the m, and you need a point. So for example, if you have the point x1, y1, then here's your x1, and your y1 is right here. Okay, so you can either be given the slope and the ordered pair point, or sometimes you'll be given maybe 2 points and you have to find the slope first, and then you can use this format if you would like to, or you can use slope-intercept form if you can find the slope or the intercept. Okay, so let's take a look at if I have like an example from the book. So for example, let's say they give me the ordered pair 2, 5, and the slope of 3. Okay, so if I have this ordered pair, this is my x1, y1, and my m is 3. So when I'm using the formula to write the equation for the line that goes through this point and has this slope, I would write y minus y1, which is 5, equals m, which is 3, multiplied by x minus x1, which is 2. Okay, so this is my equation for the line in point slope form. Now sometimes they want me to change it to slope intercept form. So slope intercept form is our next type. And if they give us the slope and the y-intercept, this is the easiest format. Also, I personally think that this is the easiest way to graph, but you can graph either of these two ways. You don't want to have it in standard form if you are graphing. So this one is for graphing, and this one is for graphing. These two are if you need to graph the line. Okay, so let's change this equation that's in point slope form right now, y minus 5 equals 3 times x minus 2. Let's change it to slope intercept form. As you can see, slope intercept form has y equals, but right here we have a minus 5 with the y, and we don't want that there. Also, slope intercept form has no parentheses, but point slope form does, so we're going to have to get rid of the parentheses also. So here we have plus 5 gets rid of the 5. That gives us 0 over here, and we have y equals. Now we also wanted to get rid of the parentheses, so I'm going to multiply 3 by x and get 3x, and 3 by negative 2 to get negative 6. Bring down my positive 5. So then my last step to find the y-intercept is to combine these two together. Negative 6 plus 5 gives me a slope-intercept form equation of y equals 3x minus 1. Okay, so this is my equation in point slope form, and the same equation in a different format would be y equals 3x minus 1. So we can compare. This has the slope of 3, and so does this one. This one has a y-intercept of negative 1, so another ordered pair would be 0, negative 1. This one goes through 2, 5. So we already know 2 ordered pairs and the slope of the line using these equations. Okay, so then lastly, sometimes they want you to change an equation into standard form. So the first step would be to change it to slope-intercept form, and then from slope-intercept form, standard form becomes easy. So let's move this down here. We have y equals 3x minus 1. To change it to standard form, I want the x term, then the y term, equal sign, constant. So right now I have the y on the correct side, but the 3x needs to go over here with the y in the very front. So it needs to have the x first. The constant is on the correct side. So this is correct side and correct side, but the 3x needs to move. All right, so when we move, remember we subtract if it's positive. And so I'm going to move it up here to the front. And I'm just going to rewrite it, negative 3x plus y equals negative 1. This would give me 0. Okay, the last thing is if it's in standard form, this needs to be positive. So to make it positive, we would multiply everything by a negative 1. We're just basically changing all of the signs to the opposite of what they originally were. So this was a negative. Negative times negative would give me a positive now. This one was a positive, but negative times a positive would give me a negative. And this one was a negative. So negative multiplied by a negative will give me a positive 1. Okay, so this one is the same equation, but now it's in standard form. So this is the equation that we got from a point and the slope, and then we changed it into slope-intercept form, and then we changed that into standard form. So these are the 3 formats for writing the equation. Standard form is used for if you want to find the intercepts, because it's very easy. Remember, if we just put a 0 for the y, then we can find the x-intercept, and if we put a 0 for the x, we can find the y-intercept. So if you're looking for intercepts, the x and y intercepts, this one is the easiest format, your standard. But these are the 2 more important ones, so I need you to know these 2 for sure. Know how to write them and know how to switch between. Also know what you need. So slope-intercept form needs the slope, which is m, and the y-intercept, which is the b, because it's called slope-intercept form. The point-slope form needs the slope and a point. Okay, those are our 3 formats for writing linear equations. So they all look like lines, and they're interchangeable, so they're all the same thing, just different formats.